Hey everybody, welcome back around to the Blog and Grill. I'm your host Doug here with your video blog for October 9th, 2013. Back after a long sports weekend. I got college football stuff, NFL, Week 5 wrap-up material for you. We'll have a look at some MLB playoffs as well, and a big deal for a big Yankee, so we'll get to all that. But first I want to start out with my college football wrap-up. I just want to give you my Heisman top 3, and it has changed, and I want to give you my top 5 polls, but my top 5 polls, I'll start with that. That stayed the same. Alabama and Oregon, 1 and 2. Ohio State after a big win over Northwestern, number 3. Stanford in at number 4, and Clemson in at number 5. Still not buying into Clemson yet. Got to see what they can do down the stretch. My Heisman top 3, my top guy in the Heisman race right now, still the same, Johnny Manziel. My number 2 guy last week, Zach Mettenberger, is now down to number 3, and jumping in there at number 2, Jameis Winston from Florida State, the quarterback, threw for 5 touchdowns in a 63 to nothing drumming of Maryland. Jameis Winston, very exciting player to watch, and this guy can make a run at the Heisman right now. If he can run the table, finish his season undefeated, and keep his stats up, this guy will win the Heisman. Right now, he's number 2 on my list. So that's my college football wrap. I'll pick some college football lines on Friday, so that should be pretty good. Now we'll get to our NFL Week 5 wrap-up. I'm going to give you my awards for the week, and I'm going to look at 3 injuries that could have a major effect on teams down the stretch here. First off, my fantasy player of the week is going to Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant, 30 points, racking them up for a big week for him. My offensive player of the week is going to go to Tony Romo. Even though he threw the big pick late against the Broncos, he kept him in at 25 of 36 for 506 yards and 5 touchdowns. And my defensive player of the week is from the Indianapolis Colts. Big win over the Seahawks. Robert Mathis, 2 sacks and a forced fumble in the 34-28 Colts win over the Seahawks. Alright, so I'll go to the first injury first. We've had breaking news on ESPN.com. Julio Jones will be out for the remainder of the season with a foot injury. He will miss the remainder of the season. He's having surgery today, and he will miss the remainder of the season. Big loss for the Falcons. Roddy White's banged up. Really the only offensive weapon they have now is Tony Gonzalez. And, I mean, they're banged up. They're 1 and 4. They're really struggling to move the ball effectively. Steven Jackson's hurt. It's just a banged up team right now. And they're going to have to find somebody. Maybe Roddy White can come back and have an impact on the team. But right now, this is the biggest injury for probably the top wide receiver in the NFL. The second injury I want to look at is Mark Sanchez. Yesterday had surgery on his shoulder. He will be out for the remainder of the year. And this was a long time coming. I mean, Sanchez tried to rehab it. We've seen some success with Geno Smith. That's really closing the door on his time with the Jets. And he just knows that he's got to get better because he's going to have to try to win a job next year in the National Football League. And there will be some openings, I do believe. The Buccaneers will have a job to be won. Likely the Oakland Raiders could have a job to be won. And, of course, the Jacksonville Jaguars, depending on what they do in the draft, could have a job to be won as well. In the final injury, Rob Gronkowski, back from his 4 forearm surgeries and his 1 back surgery, will play this week against the New Orleans Saints in Foxborough. Should be a big game. Can't expect a lot out of Gronk. He's not in football shape yet, but he'll get there. If he's on your fantasy team, I'd start him. And I think it's going to be big to get him back just to get a safety blanket for Tom Brady. Alright, so that's my NFL Week 5 wrap-up. I'll pick some NFL games on Friday. But now I want to get to the MLB playoffs. As we know so far, the 2 teams that are into the championship series are the Red Sox and the Dodgers. The Dodgers winning in 4, Red Sox winning in 4. In the game tonight, Cardinals and Pirates, that game is going to start up right around 8 o'clock. Garrett Cole versus Adam Wainwright. Cole pitched well in his first game. Cole won Game 2. Wainwright won Game 1. A.J. Burnett will be available out of the bullpen. I think it's a good idea to go with Cole. He pitched well against the Cardinals in the first time he faced him in Game 2. And A.J. Burnett has an ERA of over 15 in St. Louis, so you cannot throw him out there. I mean, it's hard to pick against Wainwright. I'd like to see the Pirates get it done, but I think Wainwright will be too much And this is the type of game where you see Wainwright just go out there and throw a complete game and win. So I'm picking the Cardinals in that one. And then we have Game 5 tomorrow night in Oakland. Detroit Tigers versus the Oakland A's. That was a great game last night. Max Scherzer coming up big in the bullpen. That'll be Verlander against either Cologne or Sonny Gray. I think they might throw. I'm hoping they throw Sonny Gray. Gray pitched great against him, shut him out over 8 innings. It'll be interesting to see if the bats can get something going for Detroit. That's been the trouble. They got the bats going last night in Detroit, but I mean it's going to be an exciting game. Verlander will get the start. Verlander has struggled some. I think he could come out strong and throw very well in this game. I think, though, Oakland is going to be really jacked up. I think Oakland's going to be too much for this team, and Oakland will get through to take on the Red Sox in the league championship series. Final baseball note, Joe Girardi signing a 4-year extension with the New York Yankees today, $16 million. And this will go a big way and really probably bringing back Robbie Cano. Robbie Cano is not going to get the $300 million deal. Look for a deal in the range, probably of 5 years, maybe 200. Let's see, 5 years. 5 years, maybe $150 million. Hard to say. Maybe 5 years, $125 million. It's really tough to say. You might get a 6-year. I don't know. I'm going with Cano will be back. Big deal for the Yankees to get Girardi. He'll be making $4 million a year, so that should be a great deal. So just some breaking news there for you. All right, so Friday I'll be back. I'm going to take a look inside Peyton Manning heading to the playoffs. I have a theory that will surprise some, but makes sense if you think about Peyton's playoff past. I'll pick some college games, some pro games. Also have a preview of the 2 league championship series. Those get started up this weekend as well. Those start Friday and Saturday. Thanks for tuning in to the Blog and Grill. Always remember, comment, question, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at YankeeBaller415. Thanks for tuning in. I will see you on Friday. Have a nice rest of the week.